Well, I bought the Chieftain, and 2 days later, my work sent me to Singapore for about 2 weeks. So I just got back, and I wanted to tell you guys about Singapore. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, hit that like button. So 2 days after I got the Chieftain, I took off to Singapore. It was a little interesting. We're sitting on the runway, and I looked out the window, and here comes another plane. I didn't realize that they got you taxied right up to the runway with the plane landing on the runway you're going to take off on. It's sort of interesting. It took 16 and a half hours to fly to Singapore straight on Singapore Airlines. And the nice thing was, with that long a flight, my work let you book a business class seat. So I felt a little pampered. Which is nice after 16 and a half hours of flying. So one of the things I noticed leaving the airport, they drive on the left side of the road. It makes it really fun crossing the street. I'd be looking for cars on the wrong side of the street if I didn't watch what I was doing. So when we were there, we took taxis. It was easier than renting a car and having to deal with driving on the left side of the road instead of the right. And then the other issue is, besides that, is every single left turn feels like a right turn. And the right turns seem like left turns, which is a little weird. And I'd look over once in a while, and it looked like someone was texting while I was driving, and no, they were the passenger, because the driver's on the other side. I did notice quite a few small displacement motorcycles. Nothing near as big as this. For a lot of people, it's their mode of transportation, since you have to buy a permit to buy a car, and that's like 10, 20, 30,000 Singaporean dollars. So it's real expensive to own a car there. But the motorcycles are a couple $100 for the permit to buy, so a lot of people buy those and they use them for transportation. And they will actually ride when it's raining all the time. It doesn't make a difference to them. I even noticed when we were in the taxi one time that it was a complete downpour, and I thought, man, I'm glad I'm not driving. And there's someone riding behind a motorcycle like nothing. They do tend to not wear full gear there. I've seen several in flip-flops. And then they did this thing of turning their jacket backwards, or wearing it backwards. And I guess that's to keep the water off of them when it's raining, but to vent out the back. So one of the things I ended up doing when I first got there is I found a whiskey collection. So this whiskey collection had a lot of rare whiskey. And it was pretty cool. It took about an hour to tour through it. And then we had a little whiskey tasting. And it was pretty funny because my coworker with me doesn't drink, or very rarely drinks, and he's never had whiskey before, so he was sipping the tasting, and I drank all mine. So one of our local coworkers took us out to Chinatown. And we went down to Chinatown. I seen an Indian temple. And then he is actually Buddhist. So he took us to the temple there in Chinatown. And that place was amazing. Check out some of these pictures and some of the chanting there. If you ever get a chance to go to Singapore, I'd highly suggest going to Chinatown to this temple. It supposedly has a part of a tooth from a Buddha. And it's really a sight to see. So check this out. So we stayed at a pretty distinguished hotel called the Shangri-La. Had a nice 24th floor lounge on the Rising Tower that we got to go to. There was an economic summit there, and they had some diplomats running around there. Got to see him block off a street. Now, I think this one that you see here is a prime minister of Thailand, I think it was. I didn't quite recognize the flag on the car. And then we'd heard that Vladimir Putin was at our hotel. Left to work one day, and we were putting down the red carpet. Came back, and they stopped the taxi short of the main entrance and had us go through the side. So when we walked in, we walked over to where the cameras were and the red carpet was, and I was able to catch a glimpse coming down the escalator of Vladimir Putin. Now, I just got this quick photo off because I really wasn't expecting it. But what do you think? Does that look like him? So that's the end of part one. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. If you liked the video, hit that like button, and stay tuned for part two.